Something broke beneath the surface this year. Not in Washington, not in Caracas, but in the one place the United States always assumed it owned, the Western Hemisphere. Because for the first time in living memory, a small nation under United States sanctions isn't collapsing. It's actually attracting new power. And that right there is the story nobody's ready for. Now, if you've been feeling like the map of the world is shifting faster than the news can explain it, you are absolutely not alone. You're watching a system built on American guarantees reach the end of its script. And here's the part no one's really admitting yet. Venezuela, of all places, has become the first real test of the post-American hemisphere. Not because of oil alone, not because of sanctions alone, but because Russia and China just made a move that exposes the limits of United States power in its own backyard. And once you see the full picture of this, you'll understand why this moment could potentially reshape the global order more than any headline out of Europe or Asia. Because the real story isn't Russia and China abandoned Venezuela. The real story is Russia and China are testing how far a declining empire can still reach. And if Venezuela stands, the United States, it loses its final monopoly, hemispheric dominance. And if Venezuela falls, well, the multipolar world is going to take a hit. Either way, guys, the Western order breaks a little bit more. And the global South is watching every centimeter of this fight. And here's the twist. Western media keeps framing Russia and China as silent or unreliable partners, when in reality, both powers are executing the exact strategy that built the new world in the 21st century in the first place. Slow, quiet, systemic, not flashy, not impulsive, but in fact, irreversible. Just like they did in Iran, just like they did in Africa, just like they're doing in Europe's energy markets. The Monroe Doctrine just hit its expiration date. Now, for 200 years, Washington could overthrow a government in this hemisphere like a switch of a light. But something did change. It's like watching a landlord show up to evict a tenant only to discover the locks have been quietly changed. China holds the spare keys, and Russia, they installed the security cameras. And Venezuela, they're no longer in the hallway by themselves. So Western media's favorite mirage is the word abandonment. When newspapers say Russia and China abandoned Venezuela, what they're actually saying is this. If Moscow and Beijing won't play America's game, well, the game must be rigged. It's like accusing someone of running away from a chess match they never agreed to play by your rules. And Russia and China, these guys, they don't do emotional alliances. They do structural ones. They do strategic ones. So what did Russia really give to Venezuela, you might ask? Well, joint ventures with only 40% Russian ownership. They offered air defense modernization, transport aircraft deliveries, oil refining technical support. And what did China give? 600 cooperation projects, agriculture and tech investment, trade routes that ignore United States sanctions, and a political umbrella, which could be, it's ultimately the real currency of multipolarity. And this isn't a superhero rescue. It's more like two engineers reinforcing the foundation while Washington brags about owning the roof. And here's why neither Russia nor China will send troops, and why that's actually not the point. Because Russia is tied down right now heavily in Ukraine, and China, they avoid direct conflict until it controls the economic terrain. But here's the part analysts miss. Multipolar powers win by changing the cost of United States intervention, not by firing the first shot. So when the price of aggression rises high enough, even the world's strongest boxer starts thinking twice before throwing that first punch. And Venezuela's survival is not, or it is a kind of a data point, right? But it's not an isolated story. So it's just like Iran surviving maximum pressure, just like Syria surviving regime change, just like Cuba surviving 6 decades of a blockade. It's just like Africa rejecting French military presence. Each of these is a signal that Western leverage is aging out. And Venezuela is simply the newest and the most strategically inconvenient. So here's an example. China's real move in all-weather partnership, when Xi Jinping called Venezuela an all-weather strategic partner, that wasn't a compliment. It was more like a classification. It's like being added to a private security network where your phone automatically connects to protected Wi-Fi no one else even knows exists. And this is the same status China gave Pakistan, Serbia, and Iran. All states the West expected to collapse, but none of them did. And Russia's real move is signaling post-sanctions economy. Moscow isn't sending an army. It's doing something more disruptive, helping Venezuela build an economy the United States cannot shut down. And you don't win against the bully by growing muscles. You win by becoming financially untouchable. And that leads us to the United States dilemma. Washington can still bomb, sanction, and sabotage, destabilize, all of those things. But those tactics no longer guarantee outcomes. This is the key fracture in the world order right now. It's like being able to flip the table, but no longer be able to win the actual game. And here's the deepest truth. Venezuela is the first country in the Western Hemisphere to operate inside the multipolar system, not the American one. It is the first nation in the region to survive a United States blockade, outlast regime change attempts, and build independent trade routes, receive systemic support from non-Western powers, and maintain political legitimacy without United States approval. This is the hemisphere's Iran moment. And it signals a world where United States dominance is no longer assumed, it's only attempted. So this doesn't mean Venezuela is safe. It doesn't mean Russia and China are perfect allies. It doesn't mean the United States can't still do damage, because they certainly can. It means the world is shifting from a permission-based sovereignty to a partner-based sovereignty. All right, guys, what do you think? Do I have this all right? Do I have it all wrong? Put in the comment section below. I look forward to reading and replying to all of your comments. And thank you guys again so much for watching me here on The Baseline. All right, cheers, everybody.